Welcome to the Wonder Garden channel. Many people who grow orchids often encounter situations where orchid leaves become soft, wrinkled, and wilted like this. Even the flowers themselves also begin wilting. And when seeing this condition, most of us immediately think that the plant is lacking water. Therefore, the first reaction is usually to water the plant much more heavily. However, for Phalaenopsis orchids, this is actually a very common mistake. If orchid leaves suddenly become soft and wilt quickly, in many cases the real cause is not water deficiency, but rather because the root system has already rotted and can no longer absorb water. At this point, no matter how much additional water you continue giving the plant will still not be able to transport water up to the leaves. On the contrary, excessive watering will make the roots become even more waterlogged, causing root rot to progress more quickly, and the plant will weaken very rapidly. In this video, I will guide you on how to care for these dying orchid plants. Please watch until the end of the video. First, there are 4 common mistakes that cause orchid leaves to quickly become soft and wilted. The first mistake is watering the orchid plant too much. This is a mistake that many beginner orchid growers often make. Many people have the habit of watering continuously every day without checking the actual condition of the roots and growing medium. Watering too frequently, regardless of the color of the roots or the moisture level in the pot, especially allowing the growing medium to remain soaked in water continuously for many days, will prevent the root system from receiving enough oxygen necessary for respiration. Another very common mistake is using regular planting soil or garden soil to grow orchids. Unlike many other plants, Phalaenopsis orchids require a very airy environment, so the root system can breathe and develop healthily. Meanwhile, ordinary soil or garden soil retains too much water and dries very slowly. When using these types of soil to grow orchids, the roots will remain in prolonged wet conditions and lack airflow. Once the root system becomes damaged, the plant will no longer have the ability to absorb water and nutrients, causing the leaves to gradually become soft, wrinkled, and eventually the plant will weaken and slowly die. The third reason orchid leaves quickly become soft and wilted is an environment that is too hot or too cold. Phalaenopsis orchids are very sensitive to temperature. When the environment changes temperature suddenly, or the plant must endure excessively hot or cold conditions for long periods, the plant can very easily become stressed and weakened. The fourth mistake that causes orchid leaves to become soft and wilted is over-fertilizing the orchid plant. Many people think that the more fertilizer they use, the faster the plant will become healthy and bloom more flowers. However, for Phalaenopsis orchids, excessive fertilization causes very serious damage to the root system. When using fertilizer at concentrations that are too strong or fertilizing continuously without moderation, mineral salts will gradually accumulate in the growing medium and around the roots. Over time, this excess salt accumulation will burn the roots, dry them out, and make them lose their ability to absorb water. Now, I will guide you on how to save an orchid plant suffering from root rot like this. First, we need to completely remove all of the old growing medium surrounding the orchid base. This step helps the root system become more airy and allows us to easily inspect the true condition of the plant. After removing all the growing medium, we will be able to see the entire root system of the orchid plant. At this point, use specialized scissors or sterilized scissors to cut away all of the rotten and damaged roots. Roots that are mushy, dark brown, black, or dried out will no longer have the ability to absorb water and nutrients. If left in place, They can also allow fungal diseases to spread to the remaining healthy roots. When cutting, you should only keep roots that are still firm and have healthy silver white or green color, so the plant has a better chance of recovery during the following period. Which country are you watching this video from? It's wonderful that we can connect with each other from all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit the subscribe button to support me and not miss any orchid care tips. Next, you need to thoroughly rinse the entire orchid plant again with clean water. This step helps remove any remaining old growing medium, dirt, rotten fluids, and damaged root fragments still attached around the root system. In addition, cleaning the roots also helps limit fungal diseases and bacteria still remaining after the root rot treatment process. When rinsing, you should use a gentle stream of water and carefully wash around the base and between the root gaps to avoid damaging the remaining healthy roots. To treat and support recovery for the orchid plant, today I will use lemon. Lemon contains natural acids together with many compounds that help support disinfection, clean the root system, and limit fungal diseases developing around the orchid base. First, I will squeeze about 1/3 of a lemon to extract the juice. After that, dilute it with about 2 liters of clean water. Dilution is very important because lemon juice has relatively strong acidity. If used at too high a concentration, it can damage the root system, especially the remaining healthy young roots. Next, I will soak the entire base and root system of the orchid plant in this lemon water solution for about 10 minutes. This step helps clean the root system, supports limiting bacteria, and creates a more airy environment for the orchid plant to recover and develop healthier new roots during the next stage. At the same time, I will also use soft cotton soaked in the lemon water solution to gently wipe all of the orchid leaves. Wiping the leaves helps remove dirt, residue, and supports gentle disinfection on the leaf surface, helping the plant become more airy. In addition, clean leaves also help the plant photosynthesize better, thereby supporting the recovery and development process of the orchid plant more effectively. When wiping, you should work gently and wipe both sides of the leaves, especially the underside of the leaves, where dirt and moisture usually accumulate more heavily. I will use the remaining lemon water to soak the orchid growing medium. In today's video, I will use pine bark as the growing medium to replant the orchid plant. Pine bark is a very suitable growing medium for Phalaenopsis orchids because it has high airflow capacity, helping the roots breathe easily and limiting waterlogging that causes root rot. When soaked in diluted lemon water, the growing medium becomes cleaner and supports limiting fungal diseases and bacteria remaining in the growing medium before use for the plant. After 10 minutes, I will remove the orchid plant for replanting. At this point, I will use a transparent plastic pot like this. a type of pot that allows you to easily observe the condition of the roots and the moisture level inside. First, I will place several pieces of foam at the bottom of the pot to help increase airflow underneath the pot. Next, place a layer of pine bark at the bottom of the pot to create an airy support layer for the roots. Next, place the orchid plant in the center of the pot and gently adjust it so the base of the plant just touches the surface of the pot without being buried too deeply. After that, continue covering with pine bark around the roots and use your hands to gently tuck the bark into the gaps between the roots. This helps stabilize the plant and keep it standing firmly without damaging the roots. You should work slowly and avoid compacting the growing medium too tightly so the roots have enough space to develop and breathe more effectively. Finally, cover the surface of the pot with a thin layer of moss. This moss layer helps retain moisture for the growing medium, limits water evaporation too quickly, and creates a soft, airy environment for young roots to develop. However, you should only apply a very thin layer and avoid covering the entire opening of the pot because this can cause the roots to become suffocated, lack oxygen, and easily rot. Finally, place the plant in a cool, airy location and water the plant regularly about once every 7 days. As a final tip, I will prepare a cup of clean water and place the orchid leaves inside like this. If your orchid leaves are becoming severely soft and wilted, this method helps the leaves maintain temporary moisture while the plant recovers and waits to produce new roots. When the root system has already rotted and can no longer absorb water effectively, maintaining moisture for the leaves helps the plant limit water loss too quickly and prolong the plant's survival ability for many weeks or even many months. This will create additional time for the plant to focus on developing healthier new roots. Results. After about 4 months of care and recovery, my orchid plant began becoming clearly greener and healthier again. The leaves that were previously soft and wilted have now become firmer, healthier, and gradually regained vitality. Not only that, the root system also developed more strongly with many new young roots appearing. This shows that the plant has started absorbing water and nutrients effectively again after the proper treatment and care process. From an orchid plant suffering from root rot and almost completely exhausted, the plant has now gradually recovered more steadily and is ready for the next stage of development. After another 4 months, the orchid plant continued developing more strongly with many new leaves appearing and the root system becoming much denser and healthier. Once the root system became stable and the plant absorbed nutrients more effectively, new flower spikes also began appearing and gradually bloomed brilliantly like this. From an orchid plant with root rot, soft leaves, and almost no vitality, the plant has now completely recovered and developed healthily again. This proves that as long as we treat the plant properly, patiently care for it, and create a suitable environment, the orchid plant can absolutely recover and continue producing beautiful flower spikes. What do you think about this orchid care and recovery method? If you found this video useful, do not forget to press like, subscribe to the Wonder Garden channel, and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss the next extremely useful orchid care tip videos.